Hello, my dear students. Again, I'm Sumit Tiwari in front of you with the third part of this chapter, Nationalism in Europe. So, as usual, as before going ahead, once again, I would like to remind you about the subscription of our channel. So far, still, if you have not subscribed our channel, then subscribe our channel for latest updates. So now let us come to our third and final part of this chapter, Nationalism in Europe. So as I told you, with respect to your board examinations, this chapter is of great significance. So far we have studied about that how middle class started growing in Europe in 19th century in great number. So with the growth of middle class, people started opposing the monarchical form of governments which were trying to dominate the people and the subjects. Subject means जो प्रजा उनकी थी. So to them now they started exploitation than ever before. And now they also not wanted that people should raise their voice against them again, as they have done at the time of French Revolution. So liberals, they have taken initiative, but somehow in 1848 their initiative, which was taken by the liberals in Germany, so that was suppressed by the forces of monarchy. So now let us know what happened after that. So let us go ahead. So there was no doubt that in 1848 the initiative was suppressed. But this was the time, that is after 1848, what happened that the people, they were not that much willing about the democracy and the revolution. Rather, the feelings, the sentiments of nationalism, they started sprouting up in the mind of the European people. And the people, those who wanted that this kind of rule, whatever was going on, in which a king used to rule and king used to make rules and regulations. So the people, those who wanted this, they were known as conservatives. And now these conservatives, they were thinking that the power of the state and the power, not only the power, the dominance of the state should be there. In that view of these conservatives, now conservatives, they themselves started the process of nation building. Means these conservatives started to unite the different states to form a nation. So this was known as unification. So now, series by series, step by step, we'll study about the unification of different nations. So first of all, let us move ahead with the German unification. Let us know about this process, that how conservatives, those who wanted to dominate, they made a nation rather than different states, different group of states. So here are some points are given which you can see. These points are there which will tell you about the nation building. Yes. So the talking about the unification of Germany. So as we have discussed in 1848, when the liberals, they tried to make their parliament, they decided to form a parliament, they were somehow repressed, and they were repressed by the monarchy and of course the military. And a part of the military, a part of the monarchs, they were supported by large landowners of that time. Large landowners. So these large landowners were from the state Prussia, and they were called as Junkers. as you can see is written here, that the large landowners who supported, they were known as Junkers. So this was the time as these Junkers, they supported monarchy and military to suppress the movement of liberals. And as these large landowners were from Prussia, so this was the time since when Prussia started taking the leadership of the movement for unifying various states of a particular region. Chief Minister of Prussian state was Otto von Bismarck. Never forget his significance in the unification of Germany, because he was the chief architect of this process of unification, and alone Bismarck has not done this, but he has taken the help of Prussian army, of course, and bureaucracy, as you can see written here. So bureaucracy means the people who belong to high class of the society, they are known as bureaucrats. So they also given their help to Bismarck for the unification. So as a result, war took place. There were you can see here it is written also 3 wars were there, and these 3 war of Prussia took 7 years, and after 7 years finally Prussia won. Prussian state won with Austria, Denmark, as well as from France. And then the process of unification of Germany completed after 7 years. So after winning, it was the January of 1871 when the King of Prussia, the King of Prussian state, whose name was Kaiser William I, so he was proclaimed as German emperor. Emperor मतलब जितना जर्मन एम्पायर था उस सब का एम्परर, उस सब का रूलर अब प्रूशियन स्टेट का किंग कैसर विलियम फर्स्ट बन चुका था. And now the ceremony was to be held at Versailles. So now definitely it was a cold morning, and the date was 18th of January when a group of persons, they gathered in the Versailles. Along with these persons, in these persons there was, of course, the Chief Minister Otto von Bismarck was also there, and some important Prussian ministers, they were also there, and some important army persons were also there in this ceremony, in which Kaiser William I was proclaimed as the king of unified Germany. अब जो जर्मनी जो अलग अलग राज्यों का समूह बन चुका था, अब जिसके हेड पे प्रूशिया था. So now this German Empire का जो किंग था now became Kaiser William I. So this was the process of unification of Germany. So now let us move ahead and let's talk about the unification of another European nation, Italy. So just like the Germany, Italy was also part of, not part exactly, so it was also the collection of some states. Some states, they together formed Italy, but before this unification was definitely required, and before unification all the Italians, they were not together, they were divided into different states, and some part of Italy was also under the dominance of Habsburg Empire. So now let us know about the process of unification of Italy, obviously. So up till the mid of the 19th century, that is somewhere near 1850, Italy was not Italy actually. Italy was simply the combination of 7 states, and out of these 7 states, just one state, remember, just one state, that was Sardinia Piedmont. So it was the only state which was ruled by original Italian princely house, जो बाद में जाकर के इटली के रूलर बने, जो ओरिजिनली इटली को बिलोंग करते थे. The northern part, the northern areas were under the Austrian Habsburg, means Habsburg Empire में था. The central part of Italy today, means today what we know as central part of the Italy, it was under the rule of the Pope, the Church, and the southern regions of Italy today, they were once under the domination of the Bourbon kings of Spain, who used to rule on France as well. So again, the chief minister of Sardinia Piedmont, this time he has done an alliance very tactfully he has done an alliance with France in order to make the Italy unified. He has done an alliance with France, chief minister, and his name, the name of the chief minister of Sardinia Piedmont was Cavour. So by doing this alliance, he became successful in defeating the Austrian forces who were ruling in the northern part of the Italy in 1859. And later a large number of volunteers मतलब जो खुद से अपने देश के लिए, अपने नेशन के लिए एक साथ आए, अंडर द लीडरशिप ऑफ गैरिबाल्डी, गिसेप्पी गैरिबाल्डी. So they also joined this group, the group of persons, those who were fighting for the unification. So means they started supporting Cavour in 1860, means 1 year after defeating the Austrian forces. They marched towards the southern part of Italy, and as well as the kingdom of two Sicilies, and finally they also succeeded in winning the support of local people, those who were living in the southern areas, and finally they drove out the Spanish rulers who were ruling in the southern part of the Italy. And this is how the process of Italian unification also completed. And finally in 1861, Victor Emmanuel II, who was the king of one of the Italian state before unification, that is the Sardinia Piedmont, he became the ruler, the emperor of unified Italy. So this is how the process of unification of Italy was also completed. Now we'll talk about third nation, that was Britain. The case of Britain was not like Germany as well as Italy. It was different. So how it was different? Because if we talk about the nation state, or when the group of nation together form a nation, that is known as the concept of nation state. So in Britain it was not like it was done in Italy or in Germany, of course. So this process took a long time. Not only just the war occurred, the people defeated, they captured over the other areas, and unification done. It was not, no, it was not like this. So let us know that how it was carried out. If we talk about the process of unification of Britain, then we have to know about the history of Britain. So Britain, actually, we all know that it lies in the westernmost part of Europe. And there was actually, it is a combination of 4 countries today, that is the Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland and England. So it is Britain. It is together called as the United Kingdom of Great Britain. So before 18th century, means prior to 18th century, there was nothing like Wales, England, Scotland or Northern Ireland. People were only known by their ethnicity. So they were known as like English, Welsh, Scot or Irish people. So what happened that as slowly due to industrialization, English nation, means the part of which is today we known as England, it started growing in wealth, importance, power, of course due to industrialization. So automatically Britain became successful in maintaining its influence over the other nations of the island. Of course Britain is a group of island only. So what happened that as the power of the English nation grew, so it started building its influence over the other nations. So finally in the English Parliament, means the Parliament of the England, which has taken power from the hands of monarchy in 1688. So, and that was also not easy. It was done after a conflict, and this conflict was going on for a long time. So that was the way by which nation state of Britain was formed, and England was the dominating nation out of the four. And then in 1707, one act was made, that was known as the Act of Union of Britain. So it was done between England and Scotland in 1707, and that was the formation of United Kingdom of Great Britain. So it was a long drawn out process, no doubt, as I told you in the very beginning. So, and Ireland is a country in which dominant class was of the Protestant. Protestant were dominant in Ireland. Catholics were in minority. I'm sorry. The thing was this, that Protestant were in minority, and the Ireland was a country which was dominated by the Catholics, and most of the Protestant, they were living in the northern part of the Ireland. So what happened, that as the Protestant of the Ireland, they got the support from the England, so they started a revolution in Ireland to separate the northern part, as most of the Protestant, they were concentrated in the northern part of the Ireland. So they wanted this northern part of Ireland should be separated from Ireland, and it should join Britain. So this happened also. As a result, finally in 1801, it was also incorporated. The northern part of the Ireland was mixed with Britain, and this is how the process of unification of Britain completed after a long struggle of the people in that area, in that continent, of course, because it is having everlasting impact on the European continent. So this was the process of unification of Britain, which was different from the other unification, different in this way, as in other nations, like in Italy there were also war, and if you talk about Germany, war was also there for the process of unification. But here not as such war, but conflicts were there. There were alliance was formed, and finally the dominance of England was accepted by the subjects. प्रजा के द्वारा accept कर लिया गया था, and this is how this unification was completed in 1801. So these three unifications are very important with respect to your point of view of your board examinations. Now let us move ahead and let us move towards the final points, final topics of this chapter. So if we talk about the vision about a nation, today we all say about Bharat Mata. तो क्या आप लोगों को लगता है कि भारत माता जैसी कोई माता रियलिटी में एग्जिस्ट करती हैं? नो, सिंपली it is the way of respect which we show towards our nation. That's why we have given our nation a symbol of Bharat Mata. However, there is no such woman existing in reality, but still it is an imaginary figure. So this was started in 18th and 19th century, in which the people, the artists, they started personifying a nations. Personify मतलब किसी मृत चीज को एक जीवित स्वरूप दे दिया जाना. So nations at that time were shown by the artist in a way that these are not just nations, these were persons. So female figures were used, like in India, Bharat Mata we use today. So in Europe also these female figures, sometimes female figures were used to personify a nation. Like if we talk about France, they are a female figure which is known as Christine Marianne. So this female figure, Christine Marianne, she is used to personify the French nation, and the people's nation is represented by Christine Marianne. While in Germany, it is Germania. The name of the female figure is Germania, who represents the German nation. So picture of Germania and Christine Marianne you can see in your ebooks also and in your books also. So they may come to identify in your board examinations. So now let us move ahead on the final topic of this chapter, that was the Balkans. So Balkans, you would be thinking, what is this Balkans? Actually, Balkans is the name of a region, but the Balkans was the name of a region which is very important with respect to your history and world history, better to say, because Balkans is a region which is somewhere associated with the First World War. It caused actually the First World War. So let us know more about this region, that how the tension in the Balkans region finally led to the First World War. So before that, we have to know that what was the reason of the tension in the Balkans region. In this region, what was the reason of the tension? कि टेंशन की वजह क्या थी इस क्षेत्र में, जिस वजह से आगे चल के फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर इस क्षेत्र की वजह से कहीं ना कहीं हुआ. So as let me clarify that Balkans was a region in which so many ethnic variations were there, and the modern day parts of Romania, Bulgaria, Albania, Greece, Macedonia, etc. So these are today the renowned nations of this continent, Europe. So Balkans was the region which contained all these at some instance of time. So it was a big area, big region it was. So let us know about the reason of the tensions in this region. So the reason, if we talk about the tension, why it occurred in this region, the first point you can see here is a very big part, a very large part of this region was under the control of the Ottoman Empire, which was a Muslim dominated empire. And the ideas of romantic nationalism, as I told you, there was romanticism, which was a cultural movement, जो कि एक cultural movement था जिसमें पोइट्री के थ्रू, सॉन्ग्स के थ्रू लोगों में राष्ट्रवाद की, नेशनलिज्म की भावनाओं को जगाया जाता था, फीलिंग्स को जगाया जाता था. तो वो फीलिंग्स, रोमांटिक नेशनलिज्म की जो फीलिंग्स थी, वो इस क्षेत्र के लोगों में जो है वो डेवलप हो रही थी. एंड ऑफ कोर्स द डिसइंटीग्रेशन ऑफ द ओटोमन एम्पायर, दैट हैज़ मेड दिस रीजन एक्सप्लोसिव. क्योंकि अभी तक एक एम्पायर का कब्जा इस क्षेत्र पे था, और जो वो कब्जा हटा, वो ओटोमन एम्पायर जब टूटा, तब जितने भी एरियाज थे, जितने स्टेट्स थे, वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा स्टेट्स, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बल्कन्स का एरिया अपने अंडर में करना चाह रहे थे. दे वॉन्टेड टू कैप्चर मोर एंड मोर एरिया ऑफ बल्कन्स अंडर दैम. So as a result, what happened that one by one the European subject nationalities मतलब यूरोप की जो प्रजा थी, वो बल्कन्स के एरिया के कंट्रोल से हट करके, जो कि ओटोमन एम्पायर का कंट्रोल उस पर था, तो अब वो अपने आप को इंडिपेंडेंट चाहते थे. So as these nationalities, they were struggling to find their identity as well as independence from any rule. So this Balkans area, this become a reason of conflict. People of Balkans, they wanted independence, they want political rights on the basis of the nationality, and they also used to tell about that once they all were independent. There was a time when those all who were living in this Balkans area, once they all were independent, and subsequently after some time foreign powers, they started capturing on this area. A major portion was taken by the Ottoman Empire, and people started ruling on this. So the people, they lost their identity. So now as a result, what happened that the people of this region, Balkans region, they became rebel, and they thought that their struggle would be a way to win back their independence which they have lost. So these were the reason of the tension in the Balkans. These were the reason of the tension in the Balkans region. So as they were known as slaves, the people of this area, they were known as Slavs. So as they were struggling to define their identity, to portray their identity, and they were struggling for independence of them also. So as a result, this area Balkans became the area in which lot of conflicts took place. People of the means the different nations, they wanted to capture more and more area of the Balkans, and they wanted to extend the boundaries of their state. So as a result, this became a reason of tension in the Balkans region, and ultimately it led to the world war. So now we have to know that how this tension finally led to the first world war. So as I told you that the different Balkans state, they were jealous of each other. Balkans state means those who were capturing the this region Balkans. So they were jealous of each other, and they all wanted to capture more and more territory under them. And during this period only, the rivalry amongst the European powers, जितनी यूरोपियन पावर्स थी, उनमें दुश्मनी बढ़ती जा रही थी. यूरोपियन माइटी पावर्स, जो पावरफुल नेशंस थे, जर्मनी, फ्रांस, ब्रिटेन, इन सब में कहीं ना कहीं रशिया, इन सब में कहीं ना कहीं ज़्यादा पावर हासिल करने की भूख बढ़ती जा रही थी. And they also, as a result, what happened that they also started colonizing the different nations. उन्होंने दूसरे देशों पे भी कब्जा करना शुरू कर दिया. And as a result also, our India was also captured. Way back it was captured by Great Britain, because these European nations, they wanted to increase their power, and that they could do with the help of their army and money, of course, money which they could earn by doing business. So for doing the business, they came to our country and they captured. So now we will not talk about that how they have captured. About that we will study in the next chapter, nationalism in India. So if we talk about this Balkans region, so more and more area of Balkans, different nations, they were trying to capture. As a result, the rivalry started increasing between these different European powers. If we talk about the European powers, there was Russia, Germany, England, Austria, Hungary. So they all wanted to increase their powers, and they all wanted to establish their dominance over the Balkans region, and more area of Balkans they want to capture. And as a result, between these different countries of Europe, a series of war took place, and finally it led to the First World War. I will not say that this was the only cause of First World War. There were many causes of First World War, but this was also one of the causes of First World War. So finally, students, we can say that this chapter has been completed. And let me tell you that with respect to your board examinations, when you answer the questions, it is preferred that you should write the answers as per NCERT. So that because of which I have taken some extracts from NCERT class 10th history, of course, and I have also taken some extracts from google.com, and of course my language also played an important role in compiling this information for you to make it useful for you. So thank you so much. And once again, before going, I would like to remind you that if you have not subscribed our channel still, then go and subscribe our channel for latest update. Thank you so much.